Welcome back. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of our almost 2-year-old food forest and show you just how easy it is to start a food forest and maintain it. The first thing you'll notice about our food forest is that we have embraced the weeds. There are weeds all through here, but we just mow up to the edge, and then as we desire, we chop and drop. So you can see right here, this pawpaw tree is surrounded by layers of stuff that we've chopped and dropped over time. There's a lot of rotten layers down there. And as we clear weeds, we just throw them around whatever plant looks like it needs a little bit of love. And it's okay to have these weeds. That means that that layer hasn't been filled in with your edible plants yet, and they're just holding it for you. And as long as they're not super obnoxious, you know, it's pretty easy to just do something like this. Pull them and throw them to something you like. So I can come out here with a little sickle. I could come out here with cardboard and smash it down. I could just take it and throw them to the base of something I really care about, like this turmeric or this beautiful ginger here. We don't know what sort of a ginger it is, but we were out at a plant sale one day and one of you wonderful people brought us this gigantic ginger plant on the back of a bicycle and said, here's a ginger. So we're going to find out what it is eventually. Here you can see the benefit of not spraying. Right there, that is a great big beautiful praying mantis hanging out on this Camellia sinensis. That's actual honest to goodness tea. And then here underneath this cedar tree, we are growing yams that are climbing up into the tree, and we also use this tree to create a little microclimate for this Mexican tree spinach, which is an edible green from the tropics. So if you have a shady area, you kind of figure out what plants like to go in there. You don't have to take every tree out and start with a blank slate. You can start with what you have and just move from there. And so this gives us a little bit of care for our, they are gingers. Our gingers here, which will take the shade. And we've also got Mahonia in here somewhere. I think I've lost it. And then as we get tired of the weeds, we cut them out. But for now, they don't really matter because there's a lot of food in here already. And it's fine that they're just filling in the gaps for us. They'll die out with the season. Here's the cedar tree from the other side. And then as I back out, you can see the leading edge of the food forest. And we just mow right up to it. And that gives it a sense of delineation from the lawn without us having to put in bricks or barriers or anything like that. And I put something pretty here at the edge. This chaste tree, it's Vitex. It's very beautiful, attracts butterflies. It's a little rainy and not a very nice day for butterflies today, but often there's butterflies and bees on it. A little apple tree here with some velvet beans growing on it. And then here's the rest of this leading edge. You can see how I kind of break it up into little islands. Pineapple, guava, loquat, little wild plum here that's starting to be done with the year. And then apple. And there's another pineapple guava at the corner there. Some sugar cane, mulberry. As we come back here, we've got a little hazelnut there at the edge and some beautiful sugar cane up here. And we just keep the pathways wide enough that I can take the riding lawnmower through here and keep it opened up. Here's an apple. And then I have some plants like this Tithonia diversifolia, which we use to chop and drop and feed to other plants. We have a lot of those. And I come out here when it's been rainy and I slice them down. You can see it's already been sliced here. You know, you want to grow as much of your own mulch and biomass as possible on your property, and this is one of the ways we do it. And I feel the weeds are the same sort of usefulness. You know, if I can chop and drop weeds, that's great. It's free compost. This is cassava. We planted these last year and they came back from the ground. As we come around here, this is a Chickasaw plum, a wild plum. It has edible fruit, but it also will hopefully attract the birds and keep them from wanting to eat our better fruit. They can help themselves to the little fruits. Sometimes putting some little fruits in there is a nice little bait. Here, birds, enjoy yourself. Eat these. So you see how the pathways just give a delineation of space. It doesn't feel like it's just a big weedy mess. It actually feels like it has some order to it. It's under control, and even though we didn't have enough mulch to mulch the entire area and do everything absolutely perfectly, by mowing the edges, you have opened up the space and made it beautiful. Look at these little venues that show up here. Those are pokeweed up here. These are some of our little lilies that have been popping up. They're all over the place. They show up at this time of year. And this is just kind of a forest evolving on its own, and some of this will get cleared out and more useful things will be planted. This is Biden's alba. This is pretty common to those of you living in the South. It's a native North American edible green, actually, but it's a flower that's in the daisy family. Down here we have a nest of jelly melons. I dumped some compost back here and just put some jelly melons, and you can see they are everywhere. I came out here and brought in baskets of them, but they're all over the ground and a lot of them are rotting. There was one plant over here and it probably, made something like 60 pounds of jelly melons. That means they're probably going to become a weed in this system, and that's fine, I don't care. We have our peach tree right here. Look at all this mess in the middle. I love it. Sugarcane is everywhere. There's some wisteria and popcorn tree and other obnoxious things that have planted themselves in here. So they'll get slashed down. And then, as we back up here a little bit, you can see pomegranate. And this is the other edge. Let me come out here a little bit so you can see it better. This is the other edge of the food forest. I'd say the entire food forest is something like a 1/4 acre. And I used sugar cane for the boundaries. This is Danny's cane right here from Deep South Homestead. I planted a little patch of it. And then most of the rest of this is blue ribbon cane. If you're looking for sugar cane of your own, my daughter has had it in her store. You can go check out. I'll try to remember to put a link below. She sells cuttings from it. This is Chinese mahogany tree. This is my outer edge. And then we have some green cane right here. This is a Louisiana cane. We have goomyberry here. Nitrogen fixing Elaeagnus multiflora. Yeah, we've got our velvet beans and we've got jack beans mixed in here. This whole area right here was covered with pumpkins earlier in the year, and we've harvested most of those, and I got tired of them, so I mowed down the sad vines that were left. May have hit a few pumpkins in the process, but kind of getting tired of not being able to get through, and we had so many pumpkins. We're at 1,100 pounds so far. We really don't need any more pumpkins. They can get smashed into the ground and recycled into next year's pumpkins. These are Japanese persimmons. This tree is kind of small, but it is absolutely covered with fruit, so it's been pulling it over. I should probably take some of the fruit off it just to give it a little break, but it looks like we're going to get a good basket of persimmons off of it, even though it's about 3 or 4 years old. We transplanted it from the other property where we used to be. And then this is the other edge of the food forest. We've got these thornless blackberries everywhere. I'll just back up so you can see. Look at this beautiful space. So much fun to just come out here and walk around and see what's fruiting and what's going on in the space, what's coming up. And at different times of year, you get different things. Lots of life, lots of fun. We've even got an apricot, which we don't know if it's going to do well here or not, but we planted it anyways. And then this year, this great big mulberry grew from a pretty small mulberry. I got this from Sam at Scrubland Farms Nursery in North Central Florida. If you have not gone to Scrubland Farms Nursery, you definitely need to go there. It is a fantastic food forest supply. They just have everything for zones, pretty much 8, 9, and 10. And some stuff probably for 7 too, but it's worth going. We're going to be doing Scrub Fest 3 there on October 19th, and I'll be talking about food forests. It's a fantastic event. I'll put a link to that too. But the nursery is well worth a visit. I mean, if you're kind of a plant hoarder and you like food forest stuff, you need to go visit Sam. It's really good. Chestnut. So that's one edge. And I wanted to show you one more thing before I close this out. Kind of just give you an overview. Up here, we have yams growing into these crepe myrtles. These crepe myrtles were already here, and I planted yams at the base of them, and they are up in the top of that crepe myrtle at about, I don't know, maybe 18 feet. I'll show you the other one. Right over here, same thing. Yams climbing up and taking over this crepe myrtle. This is so cool. The crepe myrtle became a living trellis for the yams, and then we can harvest the yam roots from the base. So all we did for this food forest was we went out here, we paced off some space, and every weekend or so, or every time we had some chance, we stuck a plant in the ground, we stuck another plant in the ground, we stuck a few plants in the ground, put 6 plants in the ground, put 10 plants in the ground, and then we sort of divided it off into little islands and mowed pathways where they seemed to flow. And there's some space we haven't claimed as efficiently as it could be claimed. Anything that is in here that we don't want, we can chop down and feed to other things. We didn't need a landscape designer. We didn't need a permaculture design certificate. We've got something that looks cool, that is producing and is going to continue to produce and get better and better in the future. And you can do this too. This is just really not hard. The system is kind of evolving as it grows in an iterative design. The biggest mistake most people make with food forests is they spend too much time thinking about having a food forest and not enough time actually planting it. You can actually just plant a food forest in a weekend. You don't need to do some big elaborate plan and have all kinds of blueprints and plant guilds and everything else. Just plant a bunch of stuff together, and what works, works, and what doesn't, doesn't. I mean, some basic design principles are good, but the biggest mistake you can make is just not to plant anything because you have analysis paralysis. You don't want analysis paralysis. You just want to get out and start planting. And people have done this overseas. People have done this for who knows how many thousands of years. And they start with, I like this plant, and they plant it. And they say, I like that plant too, and they plant it. And they say, I like that plant too, and they plant it. And anywhere there's a gap, they plant a plant. And next thing you know, they have a perennial forest of food. It's really not that hard. And if something gets in the way, you chop it back and you feed it to something else. If something didn't work, no problem. You can do this with a very, very minimal budget. Even if you didn't have any budget, you could figure out how to plant a food forest, provided you get a piece of land somewhere. So if you're interested in joining our Food Forest Challenge, we are doing a Plant Your Food Forest by Halloween challenge in my group, and I am giving away my Food Forest course to anybody that is interested in joining the group and joining the Food Forest Challenge. We've got 21 Food Forest Challengers in there already, and we are posting pictures and videos of our progress as we go, and it's a lot of fun. It kind of breaks through the analysis paralysis, and I'm giving everybody advice as we go, and we're talking about plant species and shade species and all kinds of different problems. Dry, cold, warm, what can you plant? How can you do it? We're all figuring it out together in the community. So if you want to come join, that's the Food Forest Challenge, and I will put a link to that below. Thank you for joining me. I will catch up with you soon. We've got some more exciting videos coming up as we get into our fall harvesting season, and it's finally cooling off a little bit, so it's fun to be outside again. I hope you get some gardening done, and until next time, may your thumbs always be green.